guys, it's Jordan and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited about today's video. If you can't tell based on my background and on my shirt, it is going to be Christmas themed. This is a video that I've wanted to do on my channel every single year around Christmas, but I've just never gotten the chance to do it. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite Christmas movies of all time. I love Christmas movies. I love holiday stuff. I love being in the cheery Christmas holiday spirit. It just makes me so incredibly happy. Let's go ahead and get on into my favorite movies, which are, by the way, in no particular order. So the first movie on this list, let me just make a list first so I don't forget any of them. Where's my phone? Crap, I should have done this before I started filming. Now that my list is made and I have sat here for several minutes that I have to edit out, let's go ahead and talk about my favorite Christmas movies. So the first one on my list is Four Christmases. This is with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, and this is a classic one that I watch every single year. It's about this couple who has vowed to never participate in their family Christmases. They are both from divorced homes, which means they have like 4 different Christmases to go to every single year, and it's just way too much work. It stresses them out. So instead, they take themselves on different vacations. Well, this particular year, weather conditions prevent them from leaving, and so they are forced to stay home for the holidays and attend all of these various Christmases, which are very different, very unique. They like range in spectacles and various traditions. Seeing how this couple interacts with like the various families that are of different like social standings and like religious backgrounds, it's just one of my favorite Christmas movies ever. Vince Vaughn is hilarious in it. It really like pulls out some of the humor of Reese Witherspoon. There are just things in this movie that happen that always have me dying laughing. I love the very first Christmas that they go to. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. The next one on my list is probably my favorite Christmas movie of all time, and that is The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I love this movie so much. I even love the sequels. It's Christmas. It is exactly what I think of when I think of Christmas. It has like the exact look and feel of it. It's about this young boy whose parents are divorced. This particular Christmas, he spends it with his dad. He is reading him a Christmas story and he hears a clatter on the roof, just like in the story, and they go up to investigate, and a series of things happen and his dad ends up becoming Santa. It is the best Christmas movie in the world. It is my favorite Christmas movie. The sequels follow the same exact cast, just take place many years later. The second one has to do with him potentially losing his ability to be Santa. He is now forced with the Mrs. Claus. Oh my gosh, I just love like all the puns. So in order to maintain his status as Santa, he has to marry, and he goes on this epic search to find a wife. And then the final one, the escape clause, is Santa battling Jack Frost, because Jack Frost feels like his season is overshadowed by Santa and he would like to take the whole season of winter back. So he offers Tim Allen's character an escape clause, a way to get out of being Santa. I just love all these movies so much. I love them to pieces. They're classic Christmas movies. They have like the classic Christmas feel. I love these movies, and just talking about it makes me want to go home and watch them all, because they are by far my favorite Christmas movies of all time. And the next one on my list is probably my second favorite Christmas movie, and that is Elf with Will Ferrell, which I have to say, I don't particularly like Will Ferrell in anything else. This one is amazing. He plays this elf so well. You know, if you haven't seen Elf, it's about this boy who accidentally gets taken to the North Pole as a baby, and he is raised by elves. And then one year Santa comes to him, your dad's on the naughty list this year. And he freaks out like, oh my God, my dad can't be naughty because I'm Santa's elf. And so he travels to Manhattan to meet his real father. It is funny, it is heartwarming. I watch this every single year. As well as the next one on this list, which is The Holiday with Jude Law, Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, and Jack Black. I love it so much. It's more of like a wintry movie. Like you could watch it throughout, I think, any of the winter holiday season, because it doesn't take place particularly on Christmas, just like over the Christmas holiday. So you get a little bit more leeway time in watching this movie. You follow these two women who, one lives in Los Angeles, one lives in the UK, and they are incredibly unhappy in their lives. And they just want to get away from all of their problems, so they go onto this HomeAway website and decide to swap houses for the holiday season. Kate Winslet's character befriends the neighbor down the street who's this little old Jewish man, and they become like the best of friends, and that relationship is so cute. And I love Cameron Diaz and Jude Law's relationship. I love Jude Law in this movie. Soundtrack's also amazing. This is one of my favorites, okay? It's just so good. It is so good. If you haven't seen it before, I highly recommend checking it out. It's a great wintertime in general Christmas movie. And Cameron Diaz belting the Killers while drinking wine is me every day of my life. Next on the list is Christmas with the Kranks, which has Tim Allen in it again and Jamie Lee Curtis. I actually just realized as I was making this list why it's called Christmas with the Kranks, like why their last name is the Kranks, because they're cranky about the holiday season, in case no one else got that. This one is following a family that goes all out every year for Christmas. This particular year, their daughter decides to go to Brazil for the Christmas season. They're like, well, if she's not in town, we don't have to do all this Christmas stuff. Let's just boycott it. So they book a trip to go on vacation. Just like the crankiness of them and like their bah humbug spirit towards the Christmas holidays, the stress, like, is totally relatable. Definitely one that you should check out if you haven't already. Next on my list is one from my childhood that I haven't seen in actually quite a long time, but I remember being so obsessed with it as a child that I can't not mention it, and that is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Both the original animated version and the Jim Carrey version. I loved them both. The animated version in particular because there was like a song. I remember there being children holding hands around a tree, and then the Grinch's heart was growing the sizes, and then there was the song. You know what I'm talking about, right? I remember watching this movie all the time as a child, probably when it wasn't even Christmas time. If you haven't seen it, I would still really recommend it to you because it's a classic in addition to the one with Jim Carrey, which Jim Carrey plays the Grinch superbly. There's not a person that could have done that role better than Jim Carrey. I actually haven't seen this one in a long time either. I remember loving Jim Carrey as the Grinch and the dog, his little like pet friend dog, and they're both wonderful and I'd recommend them both. The next one on my list is actually probably my favorite from my childhood. This was something that my brother and I watched religiously year-round. It is Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I freaking love this movie. This is probably one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies just for the nostalgia factor. Like, I've been watching this since I was a child. I just remember being obsessed with it then. We called it The Daddy Show. My brother was so obsessed with it and he didn't know what it was called, and it was just called The Daddy Show. So we watched The Daddy Show all the time. It's about this dad whose son wants the most desired Christmas toy of that season. Like, remember Tickle Me Elmo and how much that caused an uproar way back in the day because they were flying off the shelves and you couldn't find them anywhere? That was this toy from this movie. At the same time, the local postman is also trying to get his hands on this doll, and they are chasing each other throughout the town, tackling each other, fighting over this doll, running through Santa workshops, tackling Santas. It is hilarious. This is such a great movie. It's so much fun. I love this movie, so if you haven't seen Jingle All the Way, I would highly recommend it. And the last four on my list are just Christmas classics. If you haven't seen them, you are doing Christmas wrong. And the first one is Frosty the Snowman, the animated version. Frosty the Snowman. This is another favorite one from my childhood. I watched this all the time as a kid. I watched a lot of these animated Christmas movies. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen Frosty the Snowman, it's Frosty the Snowman. You gotta watch it. And the next three are all a part of the stop motion TV specials that were very popular in the 70s. These were like what I grew up on. The first one is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The other one is Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which again, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's about Santa coming to town. Put one foot in front of the other. And the next one is The Year Without a Santa Claus, which is The Year Without a Santa Claus. Santa Claus is too sick to do the duties of Santa, so there is a year with no Santa Claus. And I remember watching them just in a sequence that I don't remember which ones are which. They're just like lumped together as one thing in my brain. Those are my favorite Christmas movies. They just invoke the holiday festive spirit and I love them so much. If I didn't mention any of your favorites, please tell me what they are in the comments down below. And thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will talk to you very soon. Bye!